Regardless if you just started running or if you run for years, you might be wondering, why am I not faster by now? Why does it still hurt and why does it feel like such an uphill battle? My name is Anna Legard Jensen. I run for as long as I can remember. My dad even jokingly says I didn't learn to walk until I was 7. Before that, I just ran. I've learned from the best coaches and fastest athletes in the world and studied this for over 20 years. This is my passion and I'm so excited to share it with you. In this video, I'll share the 3 biggest reasons you're not running with the speed and ease that you would like. I do want to give you a quick warning. Once you learn all of this, you're going to get nauseous looking at other runners. So if you're okay with that, then keep on watching. So the most common mistake I see runners make is overstriding. I see 90-95%, if not more, doing this. And it's by far the thing that leads to the most injuries in running. So overstriding simply means that you're stepping in front of your center of gravity. And it doesn't matter if you're heel striking, so landing on your heel, or if you're landing on your toes. The point is you are landing in front of your center of gravity, which means that every step you take, you're going to have a braking motion, slowing you down. And on top of that, you also then kind of have to get over your own leg onto the next step. The reason we're overstriding is because we wear shoes today that are really cushioned, so they allow us to run with biomechanics that we weren't evolved to do. Now, I run in barefoot shoes, so I can't because it hurts too much. And it's the same if you were to run barefoot. You would not be able to land on your heel because it would hurt. You would stop running instantly. But wearing really cushioned shoes allows you to roll your foot, one of the biggest misconceptions in running. And that leads to, again, you being in front of your center of gravity, and you're going to put extra pressure on your feet, on your knees, on your hips, on everything, and it's going to make running really, really tough. So instead of landing with your foot in front of your center of gravity, what you want to do is you want to land right underneath it. Having to get over your own leg or braking every single step that you take, you want to make sure that you land right underneath your center of gravity. So how do you know then if you are overstriding? Well, the easiest thing would be to record yourself. Does not have to be professionally done. Just take your phone. You can even put it in a shoe, put it up against the fence, and record yourself running. And then make sure to stop and see where your foot lands in relation to your body and center of gravity. The other thing you can do is test how quickly can you actually stop when you are running, especially when you're running fast. Because if you are overstriding, you'll be able to stop within a few steps. And if you're not overstriding, it will actually take you a while to slow down because you have a momentum. It's like a freight train that just keeps on going, and it'll take a while for you to actually stop that momentum. 2 other ways that you know that you're overstriding is the sound. It will be a lot louder if you overstride, and it will feel clunky and heavy. And the last is you'll probably get injured. So if you're one of those runners that always get injured, you're probably overstriding. The second mistake I see runners make, and it ties into overstriding, is not using center of gravity to your advantage. So to test this, just stand straight, make sure that your body is in a straight line, and lean forward until you get to that point where you feel like you're going to fall forward. I do want you to pay attention to where your head is, because your head is really heavy, and if you lean it backward, you might offset the entire thing. To test how much of a difference your head position actually makes, stand up straight, so not leaning forward, just straight, and lean your head backwards. And it doesn't take much until you feel like you want to fall backwards. A lot of runners, when they get tired, they lean their head backwards to get more air in. But it makes running so much harder because, again, you're putting your center of gravity behind you, so you're gasping for air while you're making it even tougher to move forward. So when running, you want your head to tilt slightly forward so that you're looking down a couple of yards in front of you, and that will help you with your center of gravity. There are 3 parts of the run, and you want to make sure that you shift your center of gravity accordingly. So when you start out, when you're accelerating, you're going to be really low. So center of gravity is going to be farther in front of you than the rest of the run. Then you get into a maintenance phase where you're just running and maintaining the speed that you have. That's when you want your center of gravity to be just before you feel like you're falling on your face. And then you have a slowing down where your center of gravity is actually going to be behind you. Doesn't mean you should run with poor form or step in front of your center of gravity, just means you're shifting it backward to slow it down. The third thing that makes you run slower than you really should, and I think this is the most overlooked one, is that you allow yourself to run with poor form because you push yourself too hard in the beginning. Now this happens to both experienced runners and to novices. But if you allow yourself to run with poor repetition, you're teaching your body that it's okay to do so. So that's what your body will remember. So you'll train the wrong muscles and it will ultimately make running a lot harder for you. So you get some short-term gains because you push yourself, but long-term, you're actually doing more harm than good. You need to treat your body and your running like a sports car, not like a bus. We are taught in our culture today that pushing harder and breaking through and persevering is the way to get anything done, but it will come at the expense of your running form, your speed, and injuries. So the best way to avoid poor repetition is to not run more miles or kilometers or sprint repetitions than you can actually do. And the key is to stop before your form gets bad. And this is where it gets a little tricky, because you need to know your body well enough to where you stop before it gets bad. And there are a few things you can do here to make sure that you learn your body well enough to where you stop before. One thing you can do is film yourself, and you'll see, okay, I can do this or that many 200-meter run before I have poor form and poor technique. Also, if you feel peer pressured into running farther than you are actually trained to do right now, take note of that as well. And then if you are listening to music while running, stop doing that until you are able to listen to your body, and not just able to listen to it, but you are also willing to hear what it says. And last point, I know it's really hard to hold back because you want to run and you want to get better, but if you want to run for the rest of your life, you have to take a long view, not a short view. So if that means running a little shorter distances now to be able to run for the rest of your life, it is an investment worth making. Running is supposed to feel effortless, and if it doesn't, see if you are making one of these 3 mistakes that I just mentioned. And let me know in the comments below what other running videos you would like to see, and I will catch you on the next one.